We've already had tons of theories about Sally's family being Grampy and the groundskeeper, but what if I told you that a certain shopkeeper may be related to our item-stealing child and her family? First thing I want to establish is how we believe Sally is related to Grampy and the groundskeeper. We know this by the description of the door's UGC named Grampy's Scarf, which specifically references a daughter or granddaughter for Grampy, and Sally has become the only entity we know of currently to fit that description. But how does this tie into Jeff and Jeff's shop? Well, it's very simple actually. There's multiple pieces of evidence left in the game which links Jeff and Sally together. The first of which is their appearance. They're both in dark in colour, possibly born from the void as stated in Relk's theory, stating that the void is the edge of our memory in the limbo. El Goblino's dialogue backs this up, as he says he shone a light at Jeff before, but when we shine a light at Jeff in-game, we see that Jeff gets irritated and we don't actually see his appearance, which could be because he is also born from the void similar to Sally, and ties to Relk's theory that light isn't reflected off of both of them. Sally doesn't get irritated, however, and El Goblino saying nunca más, which means never again, might simply be because Jeff got angry at him, which shows that Jeff can be aggressive, and this dialogue doesn't mean that he saw Jeff's appearance and it wasn't hideous. This appearance can be questioned when comparing them directly, since Jeff has tentacles while Sally does not, which at first seems like a clear difference between the two. However, this could potentially be explained if they are the same type of entity at different stages of development, with Jeff representing a more mature form and Sally being much younger. We've already seen examples of entities in the game changing or evolving as they grow, such as Giggles eventually maturing into Grumbles, which shows that physical differences can appear over time rather than indicating completely separate origins. Sally is clearly implied to be a child through El Goblino's dialogue, referring to her as Little Nina, meaning little girl, which firmly places her at a young age. In contrast, Jeff appears to be older, supported by the tipping achievement suggesting he is old enough to go to college, along with his larger and more developed body structure compared to Sally. This can be further supported by how El Goblino in one of his lines states that Little Nina in the window beats him to it. If we look at how it's worded, it doesn't sound like a violent competition to have items, it sounds friendly, almost like Jeff allows them to take it from El Goblino without providing consequences to Sally. Considering what El Goblino says about Jeff, stating we should call him Jeff the Killer or something if something steals from him, it's still telling us that Jeff can get aggressive when his stuff is taken, which even more suggests that the idea that Jeff isn't exactly friendly, which is again backed up by his previous dialogue when El Goblino shone a light at him, and he also isn't friendly when people take stuff from him without paying. We also see El Goblino saying that Sally tries to swipe Jeff's items, possibly suggesting Jeff doesn't injure her and maybe she wants her old toys back. This references entity interactions such as figure killing Dupe and figure killing Giggles. El Goblino also states why he doesn't go for items, that being that Sally always beats them to the chase, meaning that he doesn't have a chance to get items. This has no relevance to my theory, I just wanted to mention this in case you guys have any suggestions for this theory. If he doesn't harm Sally, it could mean that they are related, or at least part of the same entity group, and it's possible that he lets Sally take items as toys, as we see Sally playing with toys whenever she interacts with the player, selling items that she doesn't want to play with anymore for gold. What this gold serves for Jeff? I've no clue. Maybe he's paying El Goblino to get knowledge of how to go back to the outdoors. I'm unsure. Now, to summarize, this is just a theory and shouldn't be taken as fact. However, it is a cool theory that is very plausible and could be proven later down in updates in Floor 3 and maybe even the Archives update. Seeing as these two entities seem so similar in how they act in the game, leave your thoughts in the comments and I hope you have a good day.